I will repeat it. Because we have a short duration of class, it may not be possible for me to take up once we complete this task. Initially it might look difficult but very simple. Anybody wanted me to repeat, please put it in the chat, I will repeat it. Or which portion you want me to repeat, I will do that. Right. So now I will proceed with the execution. So I now click on run. I have selected a last type, that is fine. Now I go to this data pool iteration form and I can do it iterate until then. That means as many rows I have, I want to do it for all rows. I can do that. First is I will go with the one single data. Let me see whether it is able to do the job that we intended to do. Selected it, only one row I have selected, I finish. Now execution, it is starting the execution. You can see now the player will be appearing to the right and then he is now executing it. You may now put here, you can see now Software India is suffixed to the data. So that's very good. If you see the result, I go back. If you see the result, you can see now there is no verification points or any failures or warnings, nothing. So the script parameterization has run and you can see now there is no parameterization data. DP store, the name part, software, street India is part of this run. So these two are the parameter data we have used. Right? So this is how you know that he has used the data parameter. But he may not show exactly where the data is used. So we may not know exactly where the data is used in this script. That is not possible from here. Right? But he has given the name, what is the line number, what is the data that he has taken up for substitution. So he has chosen the data set. Right? So now I like to run it for all. Before I do that, let me do it for this Amex. I want to parameterize this Amex. Right? If I like to parameterize this Amex, the most important point that we need to understand is, we need to ensure the data that I'm parameterizing. Right? I'm opening the application now, click Java. I just say run. I'm opening the application. I'm going into that location. Right? When I choose the Amex, I need to make sure only the data that is appearing here can be parameterized now. I cannot parameterize with something else. It is not allowed. Then it will generate an error. Right? I need to parameterize with the information that is available in this list. Let me take now, one I will do it with the right data, one data I will do it with the wrong data. Let me take visa. I want to choose now visa. Right? Perfect. Cancel. I close this application. Now I can go to the address, data pool editor. I create one more variable now. This I will use it as visa, that is card type. I can give any name I like. Right? Is it before name? Yes, I want that to be a first candidate before name. I now put it over here, visa. Another, I will also type it with visa, small. One is capital V, another is small. Another is, I will make it as Amex. I have now 3 records added. The third row, I don't have it. Please delete the row if you don't have the value. don't make it as an empty row. When you click on enter here, automatically you move on to the next row. So make sure that you don't have any empty row. Save that file. Come back to the script. Now I like to change the MX. There are, as I said, there are two ways. I know the code, so I know how to change it. I use it now DP string. DP is small letter, S is capital letter. So what is the name of the variable there? That is card type. Same syntax. Syntax is very sensitive to that case. So now I have replaced with DP string, and that DP string is part of the card type, is part of the variable name, and that card type I parameterize to the credit combo. Right? So he says there is an error. So make sure why the error is. If I go here, he will give me why there is an error. Syntax error, insert bracket to complete expression. So there is a missing link. So maybe the DP string 1, I have to put one more. So now the error is taken care. So because we have 3 open brackets, so we close it with the 3 brackets. So that is done. So when you do it from the script, find literals, this type of mistake might not happen. Now we have done the replacement. I am executing the script. Right? Now what I will do is, let me execute next. Let me execute this until done. Right? Run, finish it. Until done means all the 3 rows will get executed. Okay? Let us see what happens. Now you can see the first visa is selected, no issues. So now he is opening the browser application again. Now he is trying to find small v, right? Visa with a small v. So that is not available. So parameterization candidate is failing. Now you see what is the type of result you get. So we have to be very careful when you are executing the script. Now you can see that the error is exception occurred because the data are not found. Now you can see the result. And you can see here, star parameterization, the first iteration is absolutely no issues. So failure, parameterization test main has failed. Why he has failed? I double click onto the parameterization to the left. Click text select, create combo, the small visa, add text small visa, he is not able to select it. Because of that, there was an error. Right? So this is part of your failure. So initially, the first iteration has passed without any problem. The second iteration, this is the second iteration, we have taken the value visa, DP store visa, name RFT, street training. This is the data he has taken. With this data, he is trying to pass it to the respected place, and in that he is having a problem. Your script is now failed because of the data. So in automation, there are 2 parts. One is object-related failure, where the object is dynamic in nature. That is the next part that we'll see. The second is about data failure. Now, in this case, the data caused a failure. In automation, if I want to successfully run the automation, I need to ensure my data set is right. Right? So, if time permits, I will explain you how to do it, dynamically manage the data. That is also possible. Instead of I go with Visa, Amex, MasterCard as a type value, I can also do it to select one of the values from the drop-down. That is also possible, but if time permits, I will go ahead and take that up. Fine. So this is now done. I say close this. So with this now, we have finished now simple parameterization. How the parameterization data is passed on to the script. So what causes the failure? That also we have seen. There is another possibility. For example, we had 3 data, right? So I'll go with master. I don't know master with space or without space. I need to open the application and then I need to check that. Let me open it. Right? I just go to the place order. I go to the location where I want to choose because I want to know MasterCard, Master Space Card or Master Card like this. Right? It is MasterCard is a single word. So I have to be careful word. Sometimes the people will do that this like this, they will touch it and they keep the application remain open. So then also it is a problem. So I need to ensure my data set is right. So MasterCard. So I have now all the 3 data ready running. Another common mistake people do is 3 card type are matched. Let us have one more record added. Assume that I like to add one more record. So here, it generally, since there is only 3, they will only put the value here. Say they will put name, they will put street here. Right? They will leave this empty. When they leave this empty, right, it is a problem again. Because the empty data will be moved on to the selection. So he tries to select an empty data from that selection window. Right? So this is very, very important. When you are having a data set, it is one of the limitations, of course, in the RFT. You cannot have more than one data set for a single script. So the script planning, you have to be very careful. Right? There are in-between questions asked. I just reply to that question before I move on to the next thing. So if I understand well, this issue because the option doesn't exist in the drop-down list option. Correct. That Visa small letter he is trying to say. Visa, the small v is not part of the drop-down. That is because of that it is case sensitive. Because it is case sensitive, v small letter is not available, he is not able to select. That is right. So this is because of lowercase v. Is there a way to use the combination of fields in the data pool? They should be specified each or they should be specified each by each. Generally, the variable, the word variable that is fields in the data pool, that is variable, has to be to 1. I can use concatenation. For example, I will show you that. Name and street, I can put it onto the same field. That's not an issue. I can do that. But I need to use a concatenation operator. Right? It is possible. Right? So what we are trying to say is, we need to use the data content, especially when you are parameterizing a list content. We need to ensure we apply the data as it appears in the list content. No change to that content. Even though for you and me, the meaning is same. Because small v or a capital V. As you all know, Java is case sensitive. So, You have to be very careful. Perfect. Now I move back to the come back to the script. Now what we did is we had one more row. We forget to put a value over here because we thought only the 3 data, it will automatically repeat with the 3. Please note each line is one line as per the RFT is concerned. Each data goes with that line. That is what you have seen in the report as well. So let me run now. Let me make sure that you save the data set. See, another common problem happens is somebody renames this name. Already you have mapped it to the script. After that you are renaming. Then also it will fail because the name is changed. Right? So these are all the finer mistakes are generally done by the user where the carefulness is required, especially when yesterday the script was working, today the script is not working. Try to read the error, make sure that it is proper. I cannot explain each and everything, the reason is the time limitation. Right? I am keeping at least 1 hour session to repeat the topics. Let me see the way we go. Now that is why I generally I don't pre-decide what topics I have to take in the class. As long as overall objective is clear. Now I move back to the parameterization.java. I like to run. This time I have made the correction properly. Now I like to run it for all iterations until then. We now made last row without selecting any candidate for the drop down. So I say finish. Overwrite. Yes, overwrite. Make sure you cancel those pages. This is what I was saying. Common mistake that we do is this. Now there is no issue because I closed those windows. Now visa is properly selected. Now it is a second iteration. MasterCard is properly selected because we have not made any mistake in that spelling. Third iteration, Amex selected. Now you might have also noticed that the data set is changing in the street and thing. Now you can see he is trying to select an empty space. And that empty space is not now available. Right? Because that empty space is not available, he comes up with the exception. Right? So the script is abruptly failed. Come back to the report. If you see the report, to the right hand side, the parameterization test type, this is the failure. Select it, you can see here. At text, empty space is going. You may have to get the practice of reading how to read the error message. Sometimes, people get fed up when they see so many things in the result. Right? They immediately don't concentrate on what is the problem. They say, I cannot understand anything. That is a common, because part of least resistance is the human nature. We don't try to read anything or we don't try to understand anything. Our problem is this over here. So please start reading it. It's all simple. We don't need to worry about all this information that is provided. It is for the developer or is it for the coder to know why this exception has happened. He has passed on the entire exception to the user window. That's it. Perfect. So we have furnished now what is parameterization and how the parameterization misbehaves because of the wrong data. So if I want to pass the data, I need to ensure that all the rows, all the columns are filled as long as those columns are mandatory. If columns are not mandatory, I don't have to worry. Right? So this is the way we are passing the value through the parameterization inside the script. Right? Any questions on this? Please let me know. So we finished the topic parameterization now. The next topic that we are moving ahead is verification point. During verification point or after verification point, we also touch upon so-called dynamic objects. How do I manage a dynamic object? So mostly that will be our tomorrow's session. Today we will be completing the verification point after this. Is this clear? Any questions towards this? Please put it in the questionnaire. Fine. Perfect. So now we have done the simple thing. I'm just taking the basic code over here. Right? Detailed is combination of data, combination of all those are possible. Time restriction. So I keep it as an open item.